One of the least talked about aspects of that last Tears of the Kingdom trailer is the two new boss enemies. Now, before we get into that, I do want to say I messed up the other day in my enemy variety video. First of all, I didn't mention either of these. I just completely forgot them. But I also forgot a couple other enemies. You know, we had confirmed keys through the Keys eyeballs. I didn't mention Octoroks. So I definitely, I done goofed there. So I apologize. But today I wanted to talk about these new boss enemies and the idea that Tears of the Kingdom will have better bosses than Breath of the Wild. Now, of course, I can't say that definitively. It will remain to be seen. But just from what we are seeing in terms of variety, Tears of the Kingdom seems to be really delivering on that front. I mean, this goes back to the whole total enemy variety, but specifically with bosses, that was a big issue with Breath of the Wild for me. I'm not going to try to rock the vote or anything here, but I'm replaying Master Mode right now. I'll probably do a video on it, you know, revisiting Breath of the Wild, something like that. And I just beat the Wind Blight Ganon as well as the Water Blight Ganon. And, you know, going back to this game 6 years later, these bosses aren't very good. You know, I'm not a game designer, so I can't fathom how hard it would be to make a traditional Zelda boss that, you know, we're used to seeing in dungeons make sense in the context of Breath of the Wild and its physics engine and all these things. But at the end of the day, as an end player, not thinking about any of that, the blights are underwhelming. So is Calamity Ganon, but that's, I mean, we'll get to that later. The blights are disappointing. I just have to say that. They are disappointing. Basically, you just shoot bomb arrows, and you win. When they go down, you just hit them with your sword. There's not really any puzzle to their movement. You know, what made me fall in love with Zelda, you know, Ocarina of Time as a kid is learning enemy patterns and what to do. What's the gimmick? You know, with Goma, it's as simple as hitting her eye or the spider's eye. I guess Goma, is it Goma a girl? I don't know if Goma's a girl, but you know, you hit the eye with the Dongo. You gotta make it swallow a bomb, that kind of stuff. With the blights, you just hit them, and in the context of Breath of the Wild's world, once again, it's fine, I guess. But, I mean, and this is a whole greater issue with the Divine Beasts and the Divine Beast being underwhelming. I'm going to make a separate video talking about the dungeons of Tears of the Kingdom soon here. So let me know if you have anything you want to add to that, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to include it. But in the Tears of the Kingdom trailer, without further delay, we did see what we can only presume are two bosses from the new dungeons in this game, or whatever, replacing Divine Beasts, right? So in one clip, we see Link and Sidon kind of fighting alongside each other, and then in another clip, in what seems to be a similar Sky Island area, we see Link running from this shark that is made of, like, a tar. There's, like, a lot of purple going on. Almost looks like a Splatoon enemy in a lot of ways. So that's one of the bosses, presumably. This could, I guess, be just like an overworld boss that you encounter, you know, different variants of, but I kind of doubt it. And then we also see when Link and Tulin are flying together in the windstorm with all the ghost ships and all that, we see the ice parasite, the centipede, right? So that's obviously a story boss. So right here in this trailer, we saw two story bosses, and then, of course, we'll talk about Ganondorf in just a little bit. And these look cool, you know? I'm not sure what the gimmicks here will be with the I'm just going to call it the tar shark, because it looks like tar coming off of it. For the tar shark, you know, it's opening its jaws really big, so maybe you have to throw a bomb in there, similar to a Dodongo, and that's it. Its eye is also definitely pointing out to me, so I'm sure if you hit that with an arrow, that'll do a lot of damage. But, you know, I'm hoping there's more to the arena, right? I'm hoping there's something, maybe you have to get it stuck under something. You have to, like, maybe collapse something. Maybe you have to use a sin to go above the level and make it fall off the platform. You know, that kind of thing. Just give me, like, a puzzle element to the combat of these bosses, right? Because that's what was lacking from Breath of the Wild. And for the ice parasite boss thing that you're fighting with Tulin, the Rito, you know, it has however many eyes, right? You're probably going to be flying throughout this entire boss fight. You know, maybe Tulin, I guess Tullin's small. Tulin probably won't be carrying you like Teba did, right? So I'm not sure how that'll go. Maybe you'll end up being grounded for the actual boss fights. But, you know, it has like, what, 5 eyes, something like that. So maybe you just have to hit those with your arrow or do something else, you know. It almost reminds me of, I can't remember the boss's name in Pikmin 3, but there's like this ice boss, and you have to shatter the ice on it, basically. Maybe it's going to be like that. Maybe you have to shatter this ice parasite's outer layer of ice to actually do damage on the inside, that kind of thing. You know, just give me more puzzles with my combat for these bosses. That is what was lacking with the blights. Now, in this trailer, we also see another boss, or really two bosses, that people really aren't talking about, and that is Ganondorf. And whoever the other big beefcake, swoller Ganondorf is. Demise? Is it Demise? We don't really know yet. It looks like Demise. So, you know, with Breath of the Wild, Calamity Ganon was, Calamity Ganon wasn't great. You know, it's fine. It's serviceable. I'm not trying to trash on Breath of the Wild. I love that game to death. But, you know, the dungeons and the bosses were definitely the weakest points for me. And Calamity Ganon was just fine. Now, what is it called? Dark Beast Ganon, when you're on horseback in Hyrule Field. That part's cool. I like that. That's good. That definitely reminds me almost of Ocarina of Time's final boss. I mean, it's definitely different, but similar vibes. You know, you have Zelda helping you with the light arrows, that kind of thing. But Calamity Ganon, when you're inside Hyrule Castle in that game, it's not great. Once again, you just kind of hit it. You do your flurry rushes, you hit it with the arrows, you smack it with your sword a couple times, and then he's dead. You know, with Tears of the Kingdom, undoubtedly, we're going to have a 1-to-1 sword fight with Ganondorf. And to Breath of the Wild's credit, we did get a pretty good boss fight with Master Koga, the Yiga clan leader. But outside of that, you know, there's not really a lot of, like, sword fighting going on in Breath of the Wild. But with Tears of the Kingdom, with a Ganondorf fight, you know, I think of, like, the Dark Nut fights in Ocarina of Time, or really any fight in Ocarina of Time is, like, a one-on-one sword fight because of the way Z-targeting worked. But, you know, a one-on-one sword fight with Ganondorf could be really cool, especially because in that official art, Ganondorf actually has a bow and arrow as well. So I'm assuming there'll be different phases there. You know, he'll jump up, maybe do some Phantom Ganon stuff, go into a painting. You know, he'll shoot arrows from you, from the paintings, you know, that kind of thing. And just add a lot more variety to his moveset, because once again, with Calamity Ganon, I can't think of a move Calamity Ganon does in Breath of the Wild. I genuinely can't. It just sits there. And it looks cool, I guess. You know, sure, it's a cool fight, I guess, overall. But compared to other Zelda bosses, especially Zelda final bosses, yeah, no. But not only is there Ganondorf, there is the Swole Ganondorf, which you will absolutely be fighting. Is it Demise? Is it just a Ganondorf transformation? I don't know. But maybe this will just be the final phase of that final boss fight. You know, you go from regular Ganondorf that we see into this Demise form. Or maybe they're two completely separate entities. Who knows? But either way, that would be a whole nother awesome boss fight right there. And I mean, maybe I'm setting myself up, you know, for disappointment here, you know? I really hope that's not the case, because from what we're seeing, just with this one trailer, you know, it actually looks like they're fixing that issue with Breath of the Wild. And I think for a lot of people, the lack of the boss variety and the dungeons themselves with the Divine Beasts was probably one of the weaker points of the game overall. There's also the Zonai, or the furry character, as I keep referring to them in this trailer. I got a lot of comments saying that they don't think it's actually going to be an enemy. Maybe they think it's like a flashback or something. But based on what it looks like in the trailer, I know later on a similar looking creature is talking to Zelda, or at least what we can presume is the similar looking creature based on the etchings and the murals. But in the clip of where we see the furry, the Zonai, that is definitely an enemy. In that context, in that cutscene, it is an enemy. Whether or not you fight it or not, maybe it's a flashback, who knows? But that is definitely an enemy. It's like flesh is rotting. There's malice around it. Maybe it's just a misleading shot, but I would be shocked if you don't end up fighting this furry new friend we have in Tears of the Kingdom. So that is going to do it for today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you excited for these new bosses in Tears of the Kingdom? I have to say, I'm very pleasantly surprised by what they showed in this latest Tears of the Kingdom trailer. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Of course, subscribe here so you don't miss a future Tears of the Kingdom. I've been uploading every day. I really appreciate the support recently. And of course, you can join my Discord. That link down below. Twitter, follow me there. And yeah, until next time, folks, peace.